Hello everyone, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on part 25 of our playthrough of Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Last time we took on Food Run, we just did a food run, that's all. This time we are going to go straight to Rush Hour. So let's get into it. Ooh, a double feature. There's a lot to talk about in this episode. I think generally, I feel like this has been a sad week for me in gaming, in like the game news we've been getting.
Let's see if these tall poppies know how to smoke a steak.
Wow. A lot of disappointing news. It almost feels like a perfect storm of just disappointing news after disappointing news with games, especially games that I'm looking forward to. Before we get into that, I guess I'll talk about what I've been playing as of recent, and that is 007 First Light. I managed to... I think I beat it last time we were talking about the game, but I did beat it, but I also platinumed it now. Excellent game. Very, you know, about the same length as like Pragmata or like Dead Space. You know, just hits that sweet spot, just like a nice, you know, not too long, not too short. Just perfect length game. Definitely like a mix between Uncharted and Hitman. I am definitely looking forward to a sequel. Like, it really impressed me. Hey Peppa Pig, how are you? I was just talking about I platinumed 007 First Light. So that's 2 platinums from this year of games that came out this year that I platinumed. So enjoyed it a lot. Looking forward to a sequel. I think the game did a really great job at being like a Bond prequel story. So I'm good, and good job on the platinum. Thank you. I think my only sort of complaint with the game, it's a great game. Oh, these people, look how sad these guys are that I stole their boxes. It's kind of sad. This pretty much paints a picture of how I feel this week in gaming, these two guys. So I'm going through a heat wave. Yeah, right now there is a heat wave. I had to turn my AC off in order to stream this because it would be too noisy. I got a little tower fan on low setting right now. But yeah, it is pretty warm right now where I am. Maybe not as much as you right now. I think it might be like 80 degrees, which is like a, you know, for New York is kind of, you know, a fairly hot day. But yeah, so the only complaint I really have with 007 is, as great as the combat is, as great as the stealth is, as great as the brawling mechanics are, as great as the set pieces are, as great as the story is, there is just a lot of times where like the game kind of takes control away from the player a bit, where it's like you're stuck in like that walking mode. And like, I'm a big fan of like, you know, the quote-unquote walking simulator or whatever, where it's like, people call it Death Stranding. Like, Death Stranding is actually a walking simulator. Like, you have to literally put one foot in front of the other type, like, lean one way, like, or whatever. But I'm talking about when the game takes away control and you have to walk slow because, like, you're in a dialogue section or something where you're talking to another NPC. And you're not able to have that free roam, like, speed that you would usually have when you're playing the game in a combat section or whatever. That's the kind of thing that kind of makes the game a little bit like a chore in a way, but those moments were few and far between. It wasn't all the time, but it did make me think back to like you know, 007 Agent Under Fire or Nightfire, where it's like you always had control of James Bond, regardless of what was happening in the story in the moment of the gameplay. But that's just, you know, it's a different type of game. I can forgive it. Overall, I still think the game is great. And I enjoyed it a lot. You see, these games... Let's see what you said. There's this little heart thing that's in the way of... These games do that nowadays, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know, it's just the way it is. But even with, like, Uncharted, I feel like they didn't do it that much. Just want to make sure I'm not passing, like, a hidden gem by accident here. What's this guy's story? Do I want to know? Okay. Ooh, that was interesting. I sucked the life out from underneath the TNT that was already set to detonate, and then it sucked the TNT at me as well, but then it exploded, but I didn't get hurt by it. That was kind of cool. I don't know if that was just a mistake, but I'll take it. See, I'm still playing Ocarina of Time. Nice. Dope. Oh my god. I was trying to get around him. Damn it. This is gonna be... Oh, I think I missed these anyway, so that's good. Or maybe I didn't, who knows. It's gonna be one of those levels where I'm just going to be talking a lot and not really going for that 3 maxer right away. So I'm about two-thirds my way through. Okay. Nice. Now this is your first time playing the game, right? Spin those. Ah, so that time I didn't make those guys sad, I made them like pissed off and they left. Interesting. Woohoo! So yes it is. The game has aged quite a bit, but I still like it. Yeah. You know, like, when I played the original Metal Gear Solid, I felt the age in it, even with the PS2, even with, like, the other, Whoa! That was weird. But yeah, I felt the age, but it's like, I can get myself into that mindset where it's like, I appreciate the time of when this game came out, and I can put myself back in that time, and I get used to it pretty quickly. Blow this guy up. Damn it. There we go. Yeah, that's cool. I guess I should, you know, I was saying at the start of this has been a pretty disappointing week in gaming for me. In a long time, where like a lot of news, one after another, keeps coming out about stuff that I'm looking forward to, and I'm getting a little bit disappointed with what I'm seeing or with what I'm hearing. And this week has kind of been like a perfect storm of that. So I guess we should start there. You said, let me guess, Stuart Copeland. Now I know you probably have seen me ranting on Twitter, and you know. Let's let this episode be therapy, because we got to get it all out on the table. I definitely need to because I also think there needs to be some sorting out within the community where everyone kind of gets at each other. They become one-sided versus the other. And in real, like, for me, I'm, like, kind of in the middle, where it's like, oh, let me just take a drink for a sec. Jesus, dude, you were on a massacre. Was I not? But like, what, like, I think I was bringing up fair points to the table, was I not? Now, I understand. Like, trust me, I remember when the Insane Trilogy came out, and they were starting to show little snippets of gameplay and how the game looks, and there were a lot of people out there that were, like, ripping the graphics to shit, you know, being like, hey, that's not how it's supposed to be, or the physics doesn't seem right here, or whatever. And I remember there being a lot of pushback from fans that were like, you know, hey, this is the first, like, legit, you know, like, we're getting Crash again, why are you complaining, or whatever. Like, it's, you know, it's been years since we had, like, a legit Crash game, even if it's a remake. Like, just, you know, stop complaining. You have to understand that there are fans that care about the game. They're just as passionate with their criticism because they love the game and they want it to be good. That it's not about being all this doom and gloom, that you know, they're not, like, farming for clicks. They're not. It's not a manufactured opinion where they're just being negative for the sake of negative. It's coming from a real place. You know, they genuinely feel that. You know, back then when Vicarious Visions was remaking the game, that, you know, they have to get it right. And I remember, like, the Wumpa Fruit sound didn't make, like, it didn't sound like Wumpa Fruits, how it would sound in the original Naughty Dog trilogy when you collect Wumpa Fruits. It was, like, some other sound effect that they used. And then Vicarious Visions actually ended up changing it because there was just so many people complaining about it. Now, yes, do you look like kind of an ass when you complain? Sure. But you know what? I like being on the right side of history with this stuff. I'm glad that I was kind of one of those guys back in the Insane Trilogy where I was, you know, I was trying to be as constructive as possible with my criticism, with what we were getting, what we were seeing. And to this day, well, that was 2017, so we're almost 10 years later, there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with that remake still. Some stuff you're gonna get, some stuff, like, some victory, like, little victories you'll win, but there's other victories you won't. So when a new game comes out, now I understand, like, this is a different story, because Stuart Cope, like, we're talking about, whether someone was hired or not for the game, and that's a little different. We don't know whether it was because of financial reasons, we don't know anything based other than what Stuart Copeland himself said in an interview, where he said they want someone else to kind of modernize the franchise. You know, bring a sound to it that will be more accommodating to a modern audience, or, you know, to bring it into a modern age or whatever. That sounds like a creative decision. And if that is the case, it's disappointing. He said, "Listen, dude, I completely get it. I've seen some good points, but I don't think the game will suck because no Copeland." And that's what I want to clear up. Is that all of a sudden people start to think, oh, because you're criticizing that there's no Copeland, now you think the game's gonna be terrible, or it's gonna suck, and it's like, it's not worth getting. That's not my opinion at all. I think the game is gonna be great. I think the game has potential to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it still. I'm excited about it. But I can hold that opinion and also have the opinion that Stuart Copeland not being in the game is a major ball drop. The apple was right there on the tree. And people were bringing up, like, the age argument. Well, he's 73 now. Like, you know, he's not gonna, you know, at some point he's not gonna be around to do the games anymore. So what are you gonna do then? Well, that has nothing. That's a very fallacious argument, because first of all, age, you're bringing ageism into it, as if someone who reaches their 70s, they can't offer anything for the world anymore. even if someone's still active as he is, and as willing and as passionate, and how much he's been bringing like Spyro. He's been like taking Q&As. He's been still remixing like in his jam sessions on his like YouTube channel. He's still bringing like Spyro stuff to the YouTube channel because he loves this. He loves that music. He loves the riffing and the collaboration and the creativity that comes with it. So he's active. He's willing. He's passionate. He's available. And we're gonna go with someone else because we're gonna modernize the music, as if Copeland hasn't been evolving his soundtrack from the first game, the second game, and the third game. The third game's music is it has Spyro DNA in it. It's very much a Spyro soundtrack, but it's wildly more different and experimental than the first game. And the second game is even a little bit more experimental than the first game. He always evolved the tracks based on how the games evolved. So I don't buy that argument where, oh, well, you know, we need to get someone else. You know, he's been doing, like, you know, it's time, like, to move on from his sound or whatever, or you know what, we're gonna bring in another composer. And here's another thing people keep bringing up is we haven't heard the new composer yet. Okay, and then people are saying, well, he could like the new composer, for all we know, is gonna very much replicate the sound of. And by the way, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that death. This is live. Annie Reen. Where was I? I was saying, yes, we don't know who the composer is. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table yet. And by the way, I have no ill will against the new composer at all. Like, it's not their fault that they're being put into a situation where the fan base is going to be looking at their listening to their music like a hawk, making sure that it's exactly how they feel it should be. Here's what I don't get is people keep saying, oh, well, you haven't heard the music yet, the new music yet. For all we know, it's going to replicate the sound that Copeland would have done. Well, my retort to that would be, why would you need to bring in someone new to replicate the sound of what Toys for Bob would want? Like, if they want to try to make it like Copeland, why not just get Copeland then? Why do you need to have someone do his music justice when you can just get the guy who will actually, you know... People keep saying, like, you know, like, at best, the new composer will do the game justice. Will you know, replicate the sound that we're hoping for as fans or whatever. And it won't be like generic orchestral slop or whatever. But that's not what I was looking forward to with a new Spyro game. When I knew that there was a fourth Spyro game and it was going to be a spiritual follow-up to the original trilogy, I was very much looking forward to what Copeland was going to bring to the table. How he's been evolving the music ever since, you know, from the first game, the second game, the third game. I wanted to see, what does a fourth game look like? How does the music progress? Like, what, you know, 25, almost a little over 25 years later, how does he expand on the base work that he's already provided? That's one of the main things I've always looked forward to. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to see how he can transcend his sound, how his tracks. That's what I look forward to. I don't want someone to do the soundtrack justice by replicating him or matching him. I wanted to see what Copeland was going to bring to the table. Like, I wanted to see, like, someone doing the soundtrack justice. That's fine. That's good. It could be great. I could love it. But that's, at the end of the day, it's always going to be nagging me at the back of my head of, like, what would a Copeland soundtrack be like? I'm not saying that the new composer will be bad. I can very much love what he brings to the table. Or he or she brings to the table. Oh my god. I gotta... But... and I'm sorry about this playthrough, by the way. I'm just very, like... I'm so... consumed by thought right now. I very much might like the new composer, but that wasn't the point. It's not that the composer can't do the game justice, or that they'll be bad, or you know, I have nothing against them. It's just for Toys for Bob to make, whether it was Activision or Toys for Bob, we don't know who made the decision, but we do know that Toys for Bob put out the mission statement in the Paul Yan interview saying, we are trying to find a balance, you know, well, paraphrasing, that they're trying to find a balance between innovating the series, you know, not straying too far with the innovation that the game as a Spyro game becomes unrecognizable. They still want it to feel like how what fans would hope for in a Spyro game. At the same time, they don't want to lean too much into nostalgia, where there's no innovation, there's nothing really new being brought to the table, and it doesn't feel like a new installment. So you want to find that middle ground of, like, making fans feel that cozy vibe that the game always offered, but also that's, you know, the vibe. They want to nail the vibe, but also innovate. So you have to get that right in the middle. So for there to be the decision behind the scenes where it's like, we're not going to go with Stuart Copeland, though, I think that's cause for concern for me to not be... it's cause for concern to be cautiously optimistic about what we're about to get. One of the luxuries about this new game is that there's nothing that this game is going to be compared to. Like, it's not a remake. It's like a freshly newly made game. So it's not going to have any stigma of, like, oh man, they ruined what this used to be like, or what this used to feel like for us. That's not the case at all. I love how I keep doing that, by the way, with the TNT. What was I saying? That's not the case at all. It's a brand new game, so they have the freedom to do a lot of things that without fans getting really upset with them ruining the integrity of a game that's being remade. I think there's a TNT I left behind. Oh, okay, cool. But for me, the music is a big part of the game. You know, someone on Twitter was saying something like, you know, if they didn't recast Tom Kenny, I don't know, like, we got into a discussion about, like, voice acting replacements versus, like, composer replacements. And to me, it's not the same. For me, like, a Spyro game is not... It doesn't hinge on the characters' voices as much. You know, like, Carlos did the first Spyro, the voice of Rocco, and then you got Tom Kenny in the second and third game, and then going forward into, like, Enter the Dragonfly and Hero's Tale and all that. So, a voice change isn't the end of the world. I think we're at this point when it comes to, like, 20-plus-year-old franchises, we're used to voice acting changes. I'm a big Simpsons fan, so I've experienced voice casting changes, and I've learned to live with it. But for a Spyro game, it's always been about the music. So for you not to choose the one guy that... It's not that he wasn't... It's like he's right there. He's available, he's passionate, he's willing to do it. And you chose not to go with him. It's just a little alarming, and the game is already kind of, you know, it has me curious to begin with the permanent flying, where, you know, obviously that's going to be a design challenge when it comes to capturing the platforming that we're used to in the original 3 games. Like, how do you preserve that feeling of exploration now that you're not gliding from platform to platform, or sure you can still probably like um, you can still take on enemies without having to fly, so you'll have to be on the ground. But how is the overall game going to gel when it comes to integrating the permanent fly ability? Is it a permanent fly ability? Do you need to light like bonfires in order to get lift, like they were saying in the interviews? I don't know. But that was one of the things where it's like, okay, I don't, I have to see more of the game before I can even judge whether this is the right decision or not. I think they can do it. I'm actually excited to see how Toys for Bob can tackle that. But for them to, it's just something that's gnawing in the back of my head where it's like, you didn't get Stuart Copeland. Did you not understand how important that was for so many fans? And I know there's a lot of people that don't feel as strongly as me. And that's okay. I'm not trying to take anyone's displeasure away from the game if you don't feel
Does this mean I
the same as I do.
franchise potential?
At the same time, there's people on Twitter that were like, that like, oh, we all have to band together. We can't, we can't be complaining or whatever. We're getting a new Spyro game for the first time in so forever. That's fine, but I could still feel upset. People have the right to feel upset or disappointed that they didn't get this, that Stuart Copeland is on board. I don't have to be on board with everybody's excitement in order for you to be excited. That's great. If you're still excited, that's good. I don't want to take that enjoyment away from anybody. But it doesn't invalidate anyone else's feelings on the matter. And I just feel like that's important to illustrate here. I don't want to get that life. I feel like it's too risky. Let me pause a second. I just want to see what you guys are saying, because I missed some. It says, hello guys. Hey Annie Reen. Welcome to the stream. And Pelpa, you said age has nothing to do with this. 80 plus people are composing music for movies. Exactly, And I just feel like his music has been so it's so attached to the identity of Spyro. And I understand that the Legend series happened past Spyro, Skylanders happened past Spyro, where you had different composers. But you have to understand, this game is meant to be a spiritual follow-up to the original trilogy that Toys for Bob helped remake in 2018. So not getting the same composer, it's like already like, oh, okay, this is not what I was hoping for. Like, for me. And you said, yeah, I get it. Copeland has a style that cannot be taught. You cannot really get even if someone tried to replicate it, it's like I wouldn't want that, because I would rather a new composer bring their own style to it with the integrity of what they bring to the table, what their sound is, and what I want to see what they can offer, if anything. But Copeland can't be replicated, and if you're going to try to replicate it, I just feel like, why not just get him? He's right there. Like, that's why I wonder. It's like, was this a money thing? I don't know. Because in the interview, it made it sound like it was more of a creative decision. Where it's like, if that's the case, then I don't like. I am a little wary going forward. Of I'm gonna get this game. I'm gonna be excited for it. I think it's still gonna be a great game. And then you said you said whoever the new composer is, this soundtrack better be one of the best soundtracks in history. I mean, you're living up to a big task here, especially for fans who are very, attached to the series, as you or me, like, or anyone. I don't know. And Pelpa, Annie, you said, really? So who's the streamer here? You or the person who's speaking? I'm the one speaking. Pelpa is just he's just a subscriber follower, just like you, or like someone in the chat, just like you, a friend. And then Pelpa says, "This is Kevin who is streaming. You can speak to him through the chat." And then you said, "Hopefully they can balance out the flying and the platforming. Maybe if we beg." Again, I don't know if anything could be reversed, but I would sleep better at night that I at least advocated with reasons, not through obviously emotion has a lot to do with it, but like I on Twitter I wanted to lay out my specific reasonings for why I felt disappointed, and I think I articulated that well enough, even if people don't agree. But I'm glad that I did. I don't. You think about Concord, where in the interview, someone who worked on Concord said one of the reasons that game got greenlit is because of a term that they use called toxic positivity, where nobody along the way of the process of development at any point spoke up and said, is this game, are we making a mistake with this game? Are we not executing correctly? Should we be having, are people really going to be digging these characters? And then Concord came out with a trailer and people really didn't like it as a live service game, and then Sony pulled it within like a week of its launch and shut it down. And it was $400 million down the drain of development cost. And people, I remember the guy I forgot who the person's name was, but they said it was due to toxic positivity, where everyone is just cheerleading without any, where criticism is frowned upon. Don't criticize the project. Don't raise concerns, fair questions, constructive criticism. You have to be all positive, and everything's rainbow and sparkles, and that's all we want out of you. I don't want to be just cheerleading this game just because obviously I want a new Spyro game. I want it to succeed. I want there to be a future for this franchise. But you also have to be critical. You have to not be afraid to just, express your thoughts. And not condemn people for doing so. There's a lot of, like, Twitter accounts I see that are just kind of, like, wrapping up everyone into one kind of general category where it's like, if you raise any concern or criticism towards the decision of Stuart Copeland being there or not being there, or any criticism toward the game, then you're a doomer, and it's all gloom and doom, and you think the game is automatically bad now. That's not the case at all. You can hold both opinions at once.
Am I a franchise? Could I open a restaurant? In an airport?
See, Dingo Dial is asking himself questions. Can he run a franchise? He's having critical thought. He's not just gonna go buy all the resources he needs without thinking it through. What do we got here? We have to get Copeland compose at least some tracks. Now that is, I remember I did see some people saying that that's possible, where they can get him like to kind of be maybe like a freelance thing, where it's like he can offer some tracks where it's like he'll get paid for those tracks, but it won't be the entire thing. I think that was similar to the third game, where there was another guy that was involved with the composing along with Stuart Copeland, who kind of like brought his own thing to it, that helped him or whatever. So Copeland could kind of fill that role also as kind of like a advisory or consultant or whatever, and maybe offer some tracks. That's possible. And then Annie, you said, I've been sending messages for quite a while now. Maybe he's not seeing my chat. Sorry, sometimes it takes me. I definitely needed to get that big essay out of the way in my head before I could really read the chat. And then Pelpa, you said strange, and he said, "Oh crap! Remember Concord?" It's just, I don't know. I don't wish the game any ill will. I hope the best for it, but I think it is disappointing that Copeland's not on board. And I think that's a fair thing to be... Oh god. I think I need a... Did I get a checkpoint yet? I hope I did. There we go. So what a damn shame. Yeah, it's just... And Copeland, you know, he's the bigger man about it, I think. He said no harm, no foul, they want someone else. And I mentioned this too, by the way. When Activision was gonna refuse to, Can I land on these guys, by the way? I'll stay out. Cool. When Activision wasn't going to let Bam Margera in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, a lot of people were complaining, and part of it had to do with, like, you know, his controversy with, like, his drug problems that he was having, but he was clean for a long time. Like, he was actually, like, clean and sober. He went into rehab, and he was skateboarding again. And people were like, you know, oh man, they should have brought Bam back. There was a lot of, like, you know, backlash about it. But it wasn't until Tony Hawk stepped in himself and was like, and like contacted Activision and said, "You're putting him in the game. You got to put him in the game." And it's not going to be, there's no, like Tony's not going to take no for an answer. Like, I want him in the game. And then Activision actually listened. That's the problem with the Spyro fandom, is that we don't have a Tony Hawk to defend us. So when you see these Twitter accounts, these that have a lot of influence and a great following, and they're very much just, you know, just staying positive and not really rocking the boat with any criticism, because they want to, you know, one thing is they want to protect their access if they're like in like the journalism space, like say like a Canadian guy A, who I have complete respect for, but that is part of what you do, is you try to protect your access. So you're not gonna lament Toys for Bob for not having Copeland on board, because now you're just a naysayer. Spyro fans are just yes men. Not all of them, but a lot of the ones that could really make a difference in maybe swaying or making some differences, they are. And now that and this is so convenient too, that like Toys for Bob announced this like hashtag Team Spyro thing, where like it's like a special group that's going to be invited to kind of be like I guess like be like a consultant or be like a promotional account now for Toys for Bob's project with Spyro. That's what I mean. You're getting people into this like group that can't really say too many things too critically, because then you're gonna lose the chance of being in Team Spyro. You know, I'm fine with not being on Team Spyro. Obviously I don't have the followers to do that to begin with, but it's going to be small accounts like me that are going to kind of be speaking up about this, whereas the others not so much. I think Canadian Guy A said he put out a video recently, or he's about to, where it's going to address some of the concerns. I'm interested in seeing that. But we'll have to see. What was I gonna say? Or what did you say, rather? So yes, we really need to talk about this. What a damn shame. Well, a portion of them. Yeah. Said, ah, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but it's just... Oh man, what'd I do that for? I hope I got a checkpoint. Okay, I did. Cool. Nothing back here, right? Okay. Sorry for my poor gameplay, by the way. It's just, when I get into my rants, it's hard to concentrate. But yeah, those are my thoughts with that. I hope that maybe something good can come out of this. I'm looking forward to the game still, but I'd be lying if I'd say I wasn't disappointed with now the music part of it. I'm not much looking forward to. I really was, and I don't make these opinions for like clicks or whatever. I'm not like a grifter who's trying to like just engagement, like farm engagement with negativity. If you've watched this channel on Puppy, you know that I've talked about Stuart Copeland's music on this channel before. You know, we played the Reunited trilogy in full. I think it was literally like a few episodes ago I was talking about how I was excited for what Stuart was gonna bring to the table. God. Whew. That was good. So yeah, I genuinely just love his music. I listen to his music when I work out sometimes. It's just it has sometimes I've put it on to go to sleep because like, you know, you think about like Summer Fires and Autumn Plains, like how ambient and zen those tracks are. It's helped me go to sleep. I think I'll do that instead. Cool. So do you like his non-Spyro music? I'm a big fan of The Police. Now he was just a drummer in that. So, and when you're part of a band, I think I saw a recent interview too where he had differences with one of his bandmates where his bandmates, or like, I think it was like the guitarist, always believed that as a band, you're there to serve the song. Like, you're there to serve the integrity of the song, and the song has to be right. Whereas Stuart Copeland, like, the way he operates is if you give him a drum set, he's not there to serve the song is there to serve him. Like, he wants to riff, he wants to, like, bring variations to it. That's why he's always like on his YouTube channel. He's always like bringing these new renditions of his work and like different like variations of like past work that he's done, and bringing something new to the table. That's why he composed Reignited Trilogy completely new with the dynamic sound or whatever, like, so that he can give a little bit of a different rendition. And what's great about that game is you can listen to the old music and his new music together. So when he's part of the Police, he is there to serve the band's vision. But I still love the band's vision. I love the Police. Like, the Police is a great band. And there's no other band that really sounds like them either. You said, right? I saw he was in a band. Yeah, I mean, the Police is one of the, like, Message in a Bottle is in Guitar Hero 2, which is by the Police. Don't Stand So Close to Me, Roxanne. Great songs. It's very rare when you get like a rock band drummer as your composer. So that's what always made Spyro's music not just like, you know, it being cool on its own because it sounds cool, but it's just so cool that like someone from a classic rock band is so dedicated to a game about a little purple dragon. And he committed to it so well. Like, that's it's just, I don't know. I can go on and on. Put on any of the Spyro music from 1 to 3. and then tell me, are we gonna get the same? Even if you're gonna do it justice, it's not gonna be the same. But it's like, did you really want it to be done justice, or did you want the music to transcend and build upon what we already could have had? That's always gonna be nagging at me, unfortunately. Damn it. Now that's not the only disappointing stuff that's been going on this week, though, unfortunately. How do I get rid of this guy? Oh. Damn it. You said there is a certain way Copa makes his music. It can't be repeated, I don't think. It can't be. And it's okay to be disappointed with that, you know? That's just how I feel. Doesn't mean I don't think the game's gonna be bad. I guess I gotta go this way before I can go left again, because I need to get this TNT. Oh, damn it. Oh, actually, they'll blow up on that thing. Interesting. So, what else happened, man? Yeah, so... Now, while this was all going down... Damn, that guy's just waiting for me? Come on. So I need to grab both these TNTs and somehow get back. Or, actually, I don't really need to go back. I just need to get that box out of the way and then just run from them. Okay, cool. Hold on, let me just get past this part. What was I gonna say? So what else happened? So while this was all going down, you know, I'm excited for the new Halo campaign evolved that's coming out July 28th. Now, this is not my fight. I am, as a PS5 owner and a guy who already owns the original Halo trilogy plus Halo Reach on Xbox 360, I'm not as nitpicky and critical about the changes that Halo Studios is making with the new remake. That said, that ring that they were showing in the main menu, like the new graphically remastered ring, it does lack some sense of awe and a sense of scale because of how it's remastered. I wasn't going to go on any high horse about it because I know there are more passionate Halo fans that are going to, definitely do it justice by defending it. But it does look, in my opinion, it does look worse than the original. That said, as a PS5 guy, the novelty of playing it on PS5, I'm not going to get too hung up on that stuff. I have the original games. To be playing it on PS5 with trophies is going to be cool. And I think they are doing a lot of cool things with this remake beyond that. But when you do see that ring, I don't know if you saw that ring, that video of the ring that's supposed that usually plays in the original Combat Evolved's main menu. It does look they made it like shinier, and the text and it's like missing all the textures where it used to look like a big cityscape building where you see little lights like from far away. It gave it a sense of scale as it was like rotating. Now it just looks like a big like 400 miles wide like sheet of metal, shiny metal. And it does kind of lessen it. And it just makes me think about like art direction or like art style, and how there's artists who go into this profession and at no point do they ever like question like I always think of the Gaming Brit Show channel, or the Gaming Brit, who did like that retrospective on like the Ratchet and Clank games, and how like he's upset that like the Ratchet and Clank remake made made Ratchet and Clank like buddy friends from the start but in the original they had to grow to be friends, and that it lost the charm or whatever. But he also put out a video with the criticizing the Insane trilogy, where it's like, and like the title of the video is called like Crash is back with more graphics, not better graphics, more graphics. That's what this feels like to me. Like the Halo ring, it looks like they can make it shinier and you know it's more graphics, but it's not the lack of art style and art direction is kind of lost there. Where it's like when the graphical capabilities were lessened back in the day, artists had to more rely on how they can make it really pop, how they can make it really feel like something, how to give it that liminal space charm or whatever. Um, and it's kind of lost, and it does make me think about how modern day remakes today, a lot of artists are just not on this, they just don't get it, whereas like you think they would be able to get it, where it's like you can't be relying on the graphics to sell your art as much as you should be trying to bring an art style to it and seeing what you can do with the art that you're creating that can offer something a little bit more, I guess, people say it's too realistic. Yeah, it just looks really, because of how it is, because of how it's just like a big sheet of like shiny metal, it loses the sense of scale. Like I said, like when you look at like a city, like New York City. I don't live in New York City, but if you look at New York City at night and you see the little lights in the buildings, and it's like, oh my God, there's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people in this building right now. But I'm seeing the whole thing in one shot. Like there's a sense of scale to it. That's what when you look at the original Halo art in that menu, that's what the feeling it gave you. It felt like it was a manufactured planet shaped like a ring, and it's huge. Um, and that you could convey that to an audience, with just little brushstrokes, little details that would make that pop. Whereas now it's just like you're not getting that. The ring actually looks smaller. It looks like when you get like a collectible in Uncharted and they allow you to like kind of like tilt the treasure up and down and around and stuff. That's what it looks like. It looks like they just took an asset of like a little ring and just like put it and made it, and they're telling you it's big, but they're not showing you that it's big. Again, it's a nitpick and it's not my fight, but it does make me think about how art kind of gets bastardized in this like remake era that we're in. Oh my God. I don't, this is like a trial by fire here. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Alright, at least I'm getting this part down. These levels are getting tough. Nope. Do we have to do this? Hold on. What is that checkpoint? I know, it felt like it was forever that I was doing this one. Haha, I still blew up that nitro when I didn't have to. And you said, oh yeah, I've seen that video. Oh, I see it, yeah. So what else? Yeah, right. So you see what I mean. It looks too realistic. Like, it's just doesn't look right. But alas, while I take one last gulp of water, because it's hot here, I have to say that there's another thing that was disappointing this week. I still think Copeland ranks the most with my disappointment, but this is way up there. GTA 6. What are we doing? Damn it. What am I doing? What are we doing where... I don't... And by the way, the game costs more to make than the Hubble telescope. I get that you can charge a little bit more for it. I understand that that can set a dangerous precedent for the games industry, where maybe other game developers or publishers will follow suit. $80 for the standard game, $100 for the Ultimate Edition. I don't mind, for a game that's so anticipated, I don't mind shelling out $80 instead of $70. When I know how much this game costs and how much hype is around it. I understand that not everyone can afford games though, and that $80 is a lot. But $80 for a physical, quote-unquote physical edition that has no disc in it but a code, a download code. What are we doing, Rockstar? I think when there was like a rumor earlier in the year about this being a possibility, and I voiced my distaste of that. But then it went on record saying like, oh, I think someone said like there will be a disc version or I don't know. So it looks like I have to get this on the PS Store. So you have GTA 6. Here's the thing. I know this game's going to sell gangbusters. I know it's going to be an event when it comes out. I know that I'm going to be playing this game at some point. I have to say, I don't know if I'm like that crazy to get this game day one if there's going to be no disc in my physical edition. It just seems dirty. It seems weird and creepy to even buy that they think that can fly, where it's like you're going to charge $80 for... You've been so consumer friendly up until this point. You know, ever since Red Dead 2, everything's been good. But the success has really gone to the Rockstar's head, I think, where you're not going to give me, like, you're going to make me pay $80 for a code in a box. Is there going to be a map included, like every other GTA and Red Dead's? Or are we going to cheap on that too? Now, the argument is, oh, well, they're doing it because it's going to prevent leaks. What does that have to do with me? Me as a consumer, what I'm paying for? So because of the potential, you know, teenage retail employee who gets the game early in the warehouse, who might leak the game potentially, that means we have to punish the entire consumer base by not giving them what they want out of a physical edition, because it's not a physical edition if there's no disc. There's no two ways about that. There's no physical edition if there's no disc. So you're going to punish the consumer base by taking the disc away because you want to protect spoilers? Anyone who cares about this game, like me, is going to be avoiding social media like the plague to avoid spoilers. Like, are you kidding me? So if the game does get leaked a day early, a week early, you're not going to lose money. Money is the bottom line, is it not? I mean, you're already proving it by, you know, cutting, you know, overcharging like this. Is it overcharging? I don't know. Games are expensive to make these days, and this is going to be a huge game. So, and it has been speculation for a while that there might have been a little bit of a bump and increase for the cost for this game. You know, it sucks, but I do think, you know, it was. I did always have in the back of my head that was always a possibility. But I never for a second didn't think I would be paying for something I'm supposed to be getting and not getting with a physical edition. Things get leaked all the time, and it's not the end of the world. This game is going to be insane. And here's the thing too is like there is no boycotting this. The game's gonna sell crazy regardless. People who want to play this game are gonna play this game, regardless if it's physical or not. That's the unfortunate. As a physical guy, as a guy that's a pro physical, there is no boycotting it. You know, there's nothing I can do. But I think I'll wait to see if there's a separate SKU that they release that will have a physical version. Because I think that's very possible, especially with how I have to give credit to the internet right now, because as much as there's those people like in the Spyro community where they're like, oh, people are complaining, like, oh, like, you know, like physical is dying anyway, or like it's always these little excuses whenever people are upset about anything reasonable. Um, as much as there's these people who are kind of like bootlicking Rockstar right now, saying, "Oh well, it's Grand Theft Auto. Who cares? Like, you know, whatever." There's a lot of people I have to say that are speaking up, and there's even some retailers that are now removing the game from their storefront, physical retailers, because of their store policy, where it's like if the game does not have a disc, they do not want to supply it. They wish GTA all the luck. They hope to carry their game if they do have a disc version down the line, but they cannot in any circumstances carry the game in this current state. That's cool. That's cool to see that you know people are making a loud splash with their criticism with this. This is good. I don't. It makes me wonder if there will be kind of a reversal where Rockstar is like, okay, well, we'll print the disc out, but maybe it will be the disc version will be delayed or whatever. And I think that was the speculation in the beginning of the year where they said the disc version would be delayed to like 2027 or whatever. Honestly, I don't feel like buying this game twice, once digitally and then again with the disc version. I can wait. I've passed on Grand Theft Auto games before. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto 4. I would love to play that game, but I passed on that game back in the day. I actually passed on San Andreas too. Obviously, these games were a little bit more not as they were big for the time, not as big as GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of success, but I have to say, at the end of the day, as much as the people are going to be playing this game like crazy and the sales are going to be wild, as a person, as an individual, I can wait. I don't need to get this game day one. There's a lot of games coming out this year. You said... But yeah, I get it. Just put this game on multiple discs. That's, I mean, how it... Like, we're talking about a fraction of production cost here. Like it's like cents on the dollar. Like it's so if this game is too big, was spoilers really their reason? I don't think so. I think that's what people are saying. It's silly. I think what the real reason they're doing it is because it's a way to cut cost, and then it's a way to re-release a disc version for and trying to like milk their sales a bit. I think like there's a lot of reasons why they could be doing this. That's just purely out of greed, I think. Looks like physical media is dying out. I don't think it is, but I do think that there's big influence. Like Rockstar has a big influence on the gaming industry, and I don't like this precedent they're setting where it's possible, you know, that we are going to get more games coming in that are just completely passing on it. Where I don't think it's dying. I just think it's hurting. It's hurting. It's not dying. It's hurting. If that's just my personal view of it. So we can only hope. I'm gonna miss those midnight releases. But yeah, so do you see in general, it's just been a lot of like disappointing stuff this week. Let's get back here. I gotta concentrate on this part. If they'll allow me. Oh, I think there's a pity checkpoint. Beautiful. What do you say? You said, man, what a week, huh? It's just... At the end of the day, it's like, I'm getting a new Spyro game. Grand Theft Auto is right around the corner. Halo is going to be a fun game. At the end of the day, we're complaining about games, but it's not the end of the world with Spyro. That Copeland's not involved. It's not the end of the world. It's still going to be a great game. I look forward to it, but I withhold my right to be disappointed that Copeland's not involved. I think that's a major miss. I think that's like a huge, huge, huge mistake. The art direction with Halo, not the end of the world. You know, these games work perfectly fine in their original forms anyway. We're getting a Halo game on PS5. That's as a PS5 from a PlayStation fan perspective. I think it's great, and I think they're actually doing a lot of great things anyway. But beyond that, I think even the art is working in a lot of spots. So you're always going to have things to compare to and be like, that's not the way I remember it, or that's not the way I would have preferred it. Whatever. It's still a Halo game I'm getting next month. I can't wait for it. And then Grand Theft Auto is going to be fun, but I'm probably just going to wait on it. I don't need to get it right away. It would have been nice to get a launch day, though. Okay. I'll take that. Just get me out of this area. Woohoo! Oh yeah, we're not even past the part of... Wait, we're supposed to go up there, but I want to go this way just to see what's over here. Oh, this is where the hidden gem is, okay. We will finish this level, by the way. Obviously. Cool. You say I'm still excited. Right, you know, we're eating good. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, damn it. I got a checkpoint, though, at least. And I got that hidden gem, I think, right? I don't have to worry about it anymore. Let me just test to make sure that it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Cool. Up and Adam.
Wonder what the local delicacy is here. I hope it's spicy and fried.
I feel like this is like 2 levels in one here. This is what I mean with how packed these levels are. And I know I've been talking a lot more than playing. Oh god, I have to like get used to her. It's been a while since we played as Tawna. Okay, so like I stun them. They should have cut this level in half. Yeah. They're getting a little too crazy here. What's your story, guy? Oh, this is a bouncy guy? Make sure I don't miss any boxes by accident. It would suck to do this level over. What the? Let's try it again. Did I get the... I'm looking for boxes. Thank you. Oh, I can jump, double jump. Cool. Forgot. Dope. Alright, we're good. Play here. You needed that up box. Oh, should I die? Ah, okay. So what I screwed up was I put the TNT on by accident. Ah, I see. Yep. Beautiful. Good catch. Okay. 291 and 441. This is going to be a level, by the way, that we're going to like miss a box. I know it. I think it's happened to me before. We'll see though. Okay. Are these electrified? I don't think so, right? You probably missed some boxes, but I didn't catch them out. Oh, yeah, we'll see. It is what it is at this point. Damn it. Oh, come on, where was my checkpoint for that? It's too much. Game has too much of me. I'm just spinning that one box on the side. How is that destroying the TNT? Am I wrong? This level, man. Alright. I'll let them have it. I had more fun playing Toxic Tunnels. Yeah. Not really a fan of this one. This is supposed to be like the fun world. Like... It's supposed to be like the reward for beating Entropy. Okay, whatever. Okay, what do we do? I didn't like a single level in this world. I think that's well. It's not stowing away. The one where like the cargo is coming out of the plane that we're gonna play soon. I enjoyed that one, but it is still a kind of a bitch. How are we doing this? At least these don't get electrified. Trying to make sure there's no boxes out in the distance that I need to worry about.
Yeah.
Alright, we got a checkpoint. That's big. I think I did good with that. Got another checkpoint. Right now we got 311 boxes. Nothing that way. Looks good, right? What's happening here? What's happening here? Oh, okay. Okay. I remember this part is a little... I don't know if we're at the part yet, but we'll see. Damn it. At least we have a checkpoint. Okay. Oh, I missed it. Damn it. The thing is, I'm pressing it too early, and then I miss it. I miss my chance. So, damn it. Okay. Oh! That was my fault. Oh my god. Checkpoint was probably right there. At least I got that part down though. I said, man. That part's not that hard now that I have it though. It's all just about waiting for your cue to press R2. Okay. Checkpoint. I'm going right, but I want to get this stuff. Make sure not to stomp, because you never know if they're going to hide a TNT or nitro underneath, but... I think we're good. I might as well just check this way. Because I've already died 19 times, so why not? I'm surprised I've died 19 times, but I only have I still have 98 lives. Alright, this is where... Okay, I broke a box at least from that. That's cool. How are we doing this? That's gonna fall... I needed to get on a platform that's not gonna fall right away. Because we need to scope out what we're dealing with here. Okay, we can't go that far. And thankfully we got all these boxes out of the way. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, this isn't that bad. Oh, I shouldn't double jump, I don't think, because then it makes me miss it. So like that. Okay, nothing... okay, I see what to do. I just wanted to make sure there was no boxes hidden. Looks like we're good. Okay, we're good with that. Okay, we're good with that. We are at 350. I don't think I'm missing it. Ah, damn it. At least we know this part's pretty simple. Or not. We'll get this part. At least I know not to look for boxes in this area. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay. You said, when I did the insanely perfect relic on this level, oh my god, I'm dreading that. I did it on inverted mode, which made it in slow motion, made things easier. Ah, that's something to know. Oh, by the way, we got the 80% gem requirement. Looks like we got 3 gems there, top left. Right now we got 369 out of 441. As of this checkpoint, we now have 370 out of 441. So hopefully... I'm guessing I can only go forward. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, this part of the level, yeah. Got our checkpoint. As of this checkpoint, we got 383 out of 441. I had to scope the level out. Okay. I know there's a mask in the start of the level? Or, yeah, the front of the thing here. Damn it. Okay, so that middle part's like a checkpoint area in a way. Not a checkpoint, but you know what I mean. Like a safe area where the top traffic isn't getting in. So I can wait here. Scope this out. I think we're good.
Spicy fried mystery food.
Please. We missed one! We missed one! Tell me it's like right here. Blah, blah, blah. Is it back over here? I don't like that, man. What I'm gonna have to do... Ugh. Well, there's a mask right there that we know about. I'm gonna have to replay the tape, I guess. At least I cataloged what I had during each checkpoint. My bet is the beginning of the level. I hope not. Oh, whoa! I didn't realize. I looked down at the chat. I didn't realize I was like in this weird part of the car. Look at that. Well, I guess it's not here. You telling me there's not one more box in this traffic zone? Like, come on. We're gonna let this be, I guess. Yaku box is the only box. Okay. Yeah, let's just call it then. We got some stuff, at least. We got the hidden gem. We died 32 times, but we somehow got our lives back. Alright, well, like I said, it's in any percent. We can have a go at it next time, maybe. But it is what it is. Not cool, though. It's just, if this is an episode of disappointment. We talked about many disappointing things, and then we ended with missing one box. So it's honestly, it's a perfect cap to the theme of this episode. So, but Pelpa, thank you for sticking around through my rants. I know I was, I was a little bit on a rampage on Twitter. I think I'll still continue to be, in a way. There's a lot of people I think we came to like an agree to disagree. There's others that were like, there's one person that blocked me because they just didn't like what I said. very strange. I disagree with people all the time. There's even people on Twitter that I don't really even want to associate with the way they behave or whatever. But I don't block people because one, because I don't like what that does to the algorithm. I think it actually messes it up a bit. But also, it's the coward's way out. You don't, you know, you control who enters your space. As long as you express yourself with truth and honesty, and you're true to your principles, and you believe in them, and you can articulate your defense with whatever opinion you have, that's your greatest superpower. You don't have to worry about blocking people who disagree or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's all opinions. We're all just talking about video games. It's like not that big a deal. Um, but it is what it is. You said over Spiral the Dragon is crazy, you know. And what an episode. But yeah. And then there was other people who actually agreed with me. I actually got more followers on Twitter. People started following me on Twitter more. After that, after me kind of just being real, you know. I'm not someone who, you know. I think I think that's great. I like, you know. But I'm not trying to appease anybody. I'm just trying to come from an authentic, genuine place with my opinions and what I feel about how I feel about things I like, and things I love. So that's all it comes down to. And I'm not trying to, you know, it all, like I said, it's just all authentic. Um, so thank you for anyone who's followed me and kind of, even though I'm a small fish in a big pond, I guess it's good that I can get through to some people. You know that it's not just I'm not a I don't wish any ill will on any composer. I don't wish ill will on the game. I hope it does great. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna play it, and I think it could still be great. But it is what it is. You know, I think it's a big mistake that Toys for Bob passed on Stewart. It's like, ugh, it's weird. It's a weird decision. Um, I was looking forward to what he was going to bring to the table, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Pelpa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sticking it out. Anyone out there who wants to like, comment, or subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. You could subscribe to Kev Plays 9490 on YouTube, and or follow me on Twitter at Let's Watch Series. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, keep a clear head, and keep on gaming. Peace out.